Hello and welcome back, Ariel.
Hello, Marcus.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Enjoying
Why
a
are your
great.
TVs not turned on? We need
Oh,
to see the ultra wide screen.
oh yeah, I've been playing like that. I think it's not good because
Oh, it's not good.
it's
The
a deal
bezel?
breaker. It's a deal breaker with that line in the middle anyway,
Yeah,
and then
okay.
you get used to the super ultra wide, and then I don't think it's good for me. So I'm not gonna.
So you know what you need? You need 3 TVs because then the main TV is in the middle and then you have the other one on the side. And then the bezel is probably not as distracting.
Absolutely,
If it's there.
I'm actually going to try that because I do have another 60-inch the plasma, so I'm gonna have the plasma in the middle and the 2 QD OLEDs on the side.
Okay, so people, what are you thinking about the Game Awards? Did you watch it? Yes.
Yeah, I watched the whole thing like 3 times actually. I mean, watch it like 1 time. The other 2 were just listening to someone else's reaction. I'm driving or doing something else, and then I just have a video in the background. But I think it was great. Not that I agree and I like everything they did, but there was a very pretty big announcement. I like the Game Awards mostly. What I'm looking forward is the announcements more than the awards because
Yeah.
I don't really care too much about the opinion of the journalist or whoever
Yeah,
votes for these games. But yeah, the new announcements were nice.
So for
What
an
about you?
example, Intergalactic, how do you like the new game from Naughty Dog? What, the trailer? I mean, there's
Well,
just
first
so far.
of all, they didn't show anything. That's one thing that I really dislike about this Game Awards. I understand they don't have time for a 15 minutes gameplay of every game, but if you show me something like The Witcher 3 or The Witcher 4 or this intergalactic game, you're not showing me anything other than yes, we're not gonna play with Siri, or here's this new game and it has a female protagonist or something like that. That doesn't tell me anything. I don't know if I'm gonna like the game or not just by looking at that. So I have no reason to look forward to it or or not.
So the Witcher 4 is using Unreal Engine, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Unreal Engine 5, unfortunately.
So maybe they're using 5.5 already. Okay, the game is already in development since a long time, probably.
Yes.
So they're not using the latest one. So,
but I think the biggest problem is if you go back and you look at the Witcher 3 announcement trailer, it has nothing to do with the game. Absolutely nothing. Like this, you see movements and things that you don't do in the game. The character doesn't even look even close to the character in the game. It's something completely different. I think they are working on the game. Nothing is ready yet, and they do this trailer, and then everything changes. It's like it doesn't make any sense to have this kind of cinematic videos to announce games. Honestly, it should be in game. Now, this intergalactic game, they did say that was an engine. It was not a video. They did say that, but they didn't show anything. So what difference?
No, not really. There's no. I mean, it's literally no gameplay at all. Well, I'm wrong. No,
no gameplay. Yeah, what they did show was the Sony brand, the Adidas brand, and the Porsche. So we know at least who is sponsoring the game. But aside from that, we don't know anything else.
That's good. That's good. At least we know that.
But I was mainly, of course, blown away with the Elden Ring announcement because I thought Elden Ring was done. And
that's what they said, huh? Or was it just for this Elden Ring, the download? But
the thing is, that's my favorite kind of games. I beat all the Dark Souls 1, 2, 3, Sekiro, and Elden Ring. Actually, Elden Ring, I'm still at the end because I didn't want to finish Elden Ring. I'm like, I don't want to ever finish this game. Why? I want to keep playing it. So the thing that I like the most about all these games is Sekiro. Sekiro is my favorite game, mainly because of the parry, the deflect attack. that's my favorite game mechanic, because you actually have to look at the enemy, and it's like a dance with the enemy. So you have to synchronize with their attacks and all this stuff. And this Elden Ring has deflect, like Sekiro. At least there's one character that they show that has that. So I'm like, yes, that's exactly what I want. Give me Elden Ring with Sekiro parry, and I'm happy. So I was blown away with that trailer. And in January, there is an open. I think you can try to sign up for the beta testing or early access or something like that. So I will definitely do that and see if if I qualify, or I don't know. Maybe you have to be lucky to play it in February. So January 10. On January 10, you can sign up for this thing and see if you can play it early.
Okay, cool. We have to do that. I mean, look, let's start talking. Let's start talking about the game of the year, Astro Bot. Have you actually played it?
I didn't play it, but of course I watch your videos. I watched some video comparisons between Astro Bot and some of the Mario game mechanics, how they basically took the best out of the Mario games.
I mean,
and I think that's fine. They did a great job, but definitely you look at Astro Bot, you don't have to, think about it too much to realize that's not game of the year material. That kind of game usually is not.
Not in my opinion. It's the best platformer in my opinion, what I played so far. I mean, Mario is great. Astro Bot is great. They're the same. It depends then what character you like better, probably. Both franchises are absolutely fantastic, but it's not a game of the year, because just coming from my channel, looking at HDR is not perfect in this game, so it can't be game of the year. Can't be.
It cannot be. Yeah, I mean, obviously they don't care too much about the technical, quality of the games for these awards, because, Elden Ring, the HDR is very good, but the performance is not great, and it's locked to 60 FPS, which is like unacceptable in this day and age.
Are they using the same engine for the new Elden Ring?
Oh, for sure. It looks exactly the same. I mean, they are reusing what they already worked on, which is just great. I don't mind. If they announce this game like 3-4 years later, I would not be happy, because I'm like, why? Why would you, don't work on a new game or something? But it is the timing is perfect. Elden Rings, the DLC was released this year, so I think it's great. It's just more content. But yeah, the graphics, they don't care too much. Black Myth Wukong might be a great game, but technically I think is very bad, in my opinion. Absolutely terrible image quality, no HDR, black level raised on SDR, over sharpening, blurriness. I mean, it couldn't be worse technically. So for game of the year stuff, the technical part doesn't matter too much. At least Astro Bot it runs very well, right?
Oh, I mean, from a technical point, apart from HDR, it's perfect. There's no doubt about that. You know what I mean? Almost no loading times. You have this loading times in terms of you have some intro sequences or some sequences or whatever, which looks like loading times, but it's fine. Technically, it's fine, Astro Bot. There's no doubt about that.
Probably the best thing is the dual sense haptic feedback and all that.
It is good, but sometimes it's also a little bit distracting, in my opinion. So at shooters, for example, Doom or whatever, I actually disable it, because what I found is so in Doom, was it Doom? I think so. So you have to press actually harder to fire because of the dual sense function. So, and this is something you can't have. You need to be quick. So, and you have to press harder now. It's more realistic maybe, but anyway, it's great. I mean, happy. Oh, what is this here? Glad I got the S90D. Marcus wasn't so excited. That's why I got it now. Okay, so because I wasn't excited, you got it now. Okay, you should have a look at the S90C. So the reason why I'm not excited about the S90D is because of the reflection, the coating.
So the 95 is the one that has the matte. The 90D is the one I got. It has a glossy finish, the same as the S95C and S90C. I think it's a great TV.
Okay, gotcha. Okay,
Yeah,
so it's the same as the S95C what I have. Okay, then it's fine. Yeah, the S95D with the even more reddish coating or whatever you want to call it, it's not my, because this is the G4 here now, and it is visible, absolutely. You know, when I come into my office in the morning and all the curtains are open, this is not black anymore. This is violet. This is reddish. You know, my G2 was in there before, and it is just black. You know, so this is not a problem for me, because most of the time when I'm doing my recording, my testing, it's in the evening, or I have to close the curtains anyway because it's way too bright in here. But this is something why I'm not very happy with the S95D because of that. But yeah, QD OLED beats W OLED, no doubt about that. That's why my S95C is my main TV.
Yeah, one thing I have to say, the S90D, it looks so correct to me. Like, I don't know about accuracy, but I don't know about, the accuracy report or whatever, but the skin tones on the S90D look like I've never seen anything so natural, so perfect. Nothing comes even close. Like right now, I look at the rest of the displays that I have, and they all look very wrong. Even the S90C. So I'm trying to match the displays I have, but it's almost impossible. Like with my eyes, like what can I do? It's so difficult. But I'm keep trying, see if I can.
Yeah. Now, according to Glassy and other calibrators, the S90D series is really, really close to reference. You know,
think it's
that's
amazing.
really, it's really great. But I have to the same with the G4. I turned it on filmmaker mode, and I was absolutely happy. There's no point to change anything. But it's so with the S95C, I had the feeling it was a little bit too red out of the box. But this was just my feeling. With Glassy's setting, what he sent to me, it looks great, to be honest. But yeah, now the S90D or the D series and the G4 this year are almost on spot. You know, no need for any manual calibration, in my opinion.
It's awesome, and I'm really loving it.
This is nice. Edwin is saying, you two are the best in this line. You always keep us up to date. I have learned a lot from your videos. Your content is pure gold for us players. In good times, blessing. You're very welcome.
Thank you very much.
Yes, absolutely. And this one here, Silent Hill was robbed the Music or Sound Awards. Yeah, maybe music and sound, not in... See, this is the problem. It's just a remake, you know what I mean? You can't give a remake from a 20-year-old game or whatever, or 10 years or 20. It's 20 years, I think. You can't give them a game of the year award, or can you?
Well, maybe. I mean, if it was nominated, it should be okay to win.
It was nominated, I think, for...
It's like people say, no, the Elden Ring DLC shouldn't win because it's a DLC. Well, it was nominated. So if they nominated it can win. About the music, I am a musician. Okay, so I am an authorized voice to judge that. I think Black Myth Wukong should have won that. The music. I haven't played the game, but the music is really, really good. Among those, I think that's the best one, actually.
Okay, cool.
Black Myth Wukong.
So Anthony is asking, can you update some HDR settings for games you previously did for PlayStation 5 for the PlayStation Pro in future videos, also for newer OLED TVs? So first of all, I get this request a lot. There will be no difference at all between PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 5 Pro in terms of HDR. So they need to, if they changing HDR, then it's not just for PlayStation 5 Pro. You will have the same changes on the PlayStation 5. I'm looking sometimes at older games, but it's nothing I have planned actually, to do, because honestly, it takes a lot of time, and sometimes nothing changes actually. So why would I bother doing a video? If there is a change, of course I will do a video. No doubt about that. Gaming Tech, could you test the test drive? No, I don't touch this game again. Is this now better? This is was such a disappointment. Test drive Unlimited Pro patch. So, and HDR, what about HDR? Is it working now? This was such a a terrible game, when I tested this. Unbelievable. How can you do a test drive? This is where I grew up with, on the Amiga, Atari, test drive, and it was such a, oh my God. And I paid $70 for this crap. Really. No, I don't know. I would give it back if I would get a review code. I would give it back. So now I'm not reviewing your game. So I'm not sure if is it better now? Really? Yeah. I have a question. Hey, I have a question because the absolutely off topic. Who is using the Meta 3 or Meta 3S headset? Because the big one, the little big one, 11 years, 12, 11, is looking. He's saying, hey, I like to have a VR headset. So I looked at the Meta 3S, which is just $500 Australian dollars. But everybody is telling me, no, you should go for the Meta 3 because it has the better lenses. But this is $800 here. Not happy to pay so much money, So just quickly in the comment section, is it worth to upgrade or are you happy with Meta 3S? Absolutely off topic.
So what I would do, I want to get a VR headset. I have one, the Quest 3.
The Quest 3, you got
the Quest 2. The Quest 2, no, the Quest 2.
Okay, yeah.
But the thing is, the 3 has a higher resolution, but it's still an LCD.
New lenses.
Yeah, but it's an LCD. So the thing is, these LCD VR headsets have the best motion by far. It's absolutely incredible motion. But, coming from OLED, and I'm sure you will also prefer the black to be perfect. And if you can, HDR. So maybe get the PSVR. There's a way to use it for PC gaming. I'm not sure about the internal apps of the headset or something like that. Maybe you have none because it's designed to use for the PS5.
Yeah, the Meta headsets. Yeah. Oh, okay. So yeah, I know. Yeah. So much better display and the HDR support. So the Meta 3 is a standalone headset. You can download the games and stuff like that. So that's the biggest advantage actually. And I think the PSVR is also very expensive, $700, $800 for a standalone. For you need the PlayStation or PC for this. It's not a standalone headset, the PSVR 2. That's the problem.
I see what you're saying. The thing is, I would not be very interested in using the internal, games because it's very low power. The graphics are gonna be terrible in comparison.
I'm not sure about that. I don't know. I never tried actually one, to be very honest.
I would try to use it for the PC, but for a kid, it's different. The kid is gonna enjoy, the games more than. If you're gonna play Just Dance or something like that, it doesn't matter. You're not gonna connect that to a PC.
He plays Roblox. That's what he's
for Roblox. It's not gonna matter. It's not gonna matter. It's gonna run perfect.
Yeah. Okay, just off topic. Just give us some tips. Headset for spoiled kids. Marco is saying, I'm amazed that my LG G1 still looks great in 2024, near 2025, and it's not too far behind G4 in any given way. You're absolutely right. And I will at some point, so I finished my recording between the CX, G2 and G4. What I like to do, there would be much more to record, to be honest, but I decided to have some, just 2 games actually, Ratchet & Clank, Spider-Man, and the Spears and Munsell test DVD. And you will see not a very big difference between the 3 TVs, to be very honest. In terms of brightness, when it comes to... So this is... I don't want to spoil too much for the video, but this is really interesting. Games, actually, what I've found so far has the less impact actually in terms of compared to all 3 TVs. The games are looking very similar to each other. When I tested the Spears and Munsell test DVD, where you can actually choose between the grading or tone mapping or the how many nits you actually like to display, there's a big difference. There's a big difference. But even you play Ratchet & Clank and you set your PlayStation for the G4 1500 nits and you compare this with the CX, it's not like a day and night difference. Absolutely not. So what I'm going to tell you is if you have a CX, Oh, good. You good?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, the example
interesting.
matters. If you can find those games that are more like cartoonish, like colorful everywhere,
Yeah.
where you
Then
can
you have
see
a
the higher full
yeah.
screen brightness, I think that's what really matters.
Yeah.
A lot of people in the marketing of these TVs is mostly about the peak brightness, but I think what people are going to appreciate more is the higher full screen. That matters more because it's what you can more clearly see, the higher APL.
Yeah. No, absolutely. You will see this in the video. I was surprised. So the thing is, the problem is also that I think that when you watch this in person, in live, you have G4 next to the G2. I think the eyes are much better than any camera. You can see the differences much better. The camera, even you don't change the settings or it's just different. It's not the same. You know what I mean? So it's very hard actually to say, oh, I'm not saying it's not a difference, but I wouldn't say it's a day and night difference. On the camera, for sure not. In real, it's a little bit better, okay? But still, to be very honest, upgrading from the G2 to the G4 doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense money-wise, to be very honest, because you're not getting a wow experience suddenly just with the G4. Not at all.
So I think the cameras are good in noticing the brightness difference if one TV is brighter than the other. But aside from that, in camera you cannot see. Like I'm trying sometimes to make a video about something, and my camera cannot show anything.
Yeah.
What I'm talking about is you have to rely on what I'm telling you because the camera is not.
No, the problem is with cameras, you have to decide you like to show something dark or you like to show something bright. Both can't be done.
Exactly.
You need to have a so great camera, and we're talking about thousands of dollars. Then maybe $10,000-$20,000, and even those cameras are struggling. You can't do the both of them. Anyway, Star Fox is asking what is wrong with PSVR 2. So nothing is wrong with this one. My little one just want to have a standalone headset, so which means you don't need to connect any PC, nothing. Okay, so that's what he likes to have. And that's the Meta 3 or 3S.
I mean, I'm sure a kid is not going to care about perfect blacks and none of that. And I'm telling you, the motion clarity is just absolutely insane. It's the best we have available on those VR headsets. There's nothing that comes even close, not even a CRT. I'm talking about that is 4 times better than a CRT. 4 times better in motion.
He doesn't need this. He doesn't get
insane.
This.
And I'm saying it doesn't even have any trailing artifacts or crosstalk, nothing. It's absolutely perfect. It's like 0.25 milliseconds of persistence. Okay. So imagine that's like having 4,000 frames per second.
Okay, let's see.
4,000 FPS.
Oh, Banda is asking, Ariel and Marcus, are you any plans to get RTX 5000 next month?
Let's go.
I can't afford all this stuff, but I have to. I will. I'm not sure, to be honest. I'm not sure. I have a 4080. This is pretty good at the moment. To be honest, it's the same with G4 to G2 to G4. Yes, of course, you can afford, or I can afford a 5080, 5090, but I can still play everything, with the 4080. So it's not that I have to be very honest. But let's see. But
I do want to get a 5090, but some things I don't want to just buy the NVIDIA version because I want to have more HDMI 2.1 output ports.
So that's when you should get the TUF.
Yeah, TUF or and I want to wait for the reviews because it's like $2,000. So I'm not going to just blindly buy whatever is available. So that's gonna make it very difficult because they are going to sell out. But I have to wait for the reviews and buy it whenever it is available.
The same. And I need to. So what about the 5060 8GB RAM? Is this true? Are they serious? Really? I have a 3090 so. AMD 3090. This 3090 XT or whatever. still working in a very old computer, 8 GB RAM. I think this card is 7-8 years old.
I don't think they should do that. I mean, Intel has a $250 GPU right now.
I watched a Digital Foundry video because usually so because of a content creator, my focus is on NVIDIA with all the encoders and stuff like that. It's just better than AMD, full stop. If you're just playing games, go with AMD because you get almost the same performance for less price. But now Intel has entered the chat. You know what I mean? They are actually not bad, to be very honest. So the only thing is what Digital Foundry mentioned is the legacy support for older games, which probably is right. This is probably a problem, maybe, if you like to play older games. But other than that, the hardware is pretty good. Actually,
it's great, and they have very good upscaling, and they will have frame generation too. So yeah, I mean, I'm still gonna buy NVIDIA because NVIDIA is still gonna be the best.
Yeah,
there's no way, But yeah, it's great to have that competition.
Absolutely. So Modi is saying, so go for it.
Yeah, I was gonna comment on that, but
go.
Yeah, so he says, I own the S95C, don't need to upgrade to S90D. There's no upgrade. The S95C is better, and it's not even close. When it comes to the brightness, the S90D, at the beginning, some of them in a specific screen sizes, they got probably the same panel that the S95C has, but not anymore. I ordered 3 S90Ds, and they all have a Gen 3 1500 nits max panel. So now the problem with that is not the 1500 nits. 1500 nits is awesome, but that's like a 2%, 3% window, something like that. Full screen is 200 nits. The S95C, even out of the box, can hit 300 nits in some units. Full screen. I would like you to measure that if you can with your instrument. See, full screen white. What are you getting with your S95C?
I have no idea, but it's brighter than the G4.
It is brighter. Well, the G4 is actually 300 nits full screen on SDR.
But this without measuring, because when I'm watching the same stuff or whatever, full screen is always brighter on the S95C.
Well,
that's my I can measure this at some point, because I plan also to do a comparison video between the G4 and the S95C, but this will be it's not hard, but the problem is with the different panel technology. I don't know how to set up my camera correct that you don't have a different white point,
there's no way.
Because people always saying, oh, I don't like this, and in real it's the same, but the camera can't do this.
So basically the S90D is not better than the S95C at all. It's not brighter, full screen, and it's not brighter peak brightness. Now the thing is, the S95C has the One Connect box. The biggest problem that I experienced with the One Connect box was I cannot use NVIDIA image scaling or DLDSR, because and you cannot delete this 4096 by 2160 resolution. So if I get a 5090, for example, and I'm gonna play an older game that's easy to run, that's what I want to use. I want to use NVIDIA DLDSR to get more pixels, and you cannot do that with the One Connect box. That's the biggest downside that I can see. But picture quality, brightness, and colors, the S95C is just ferocious, especially if you do the mod, the 2000 nits mod, which is very easy. It's like 2 settings you have to change on the service menu. It's just incredible. It's like you don't need it. In my opinion, you don't ever need a brighter, more colorful TV. In my opinion, you want more hertz. You want maybe better motion, better processing or something else. But brightness and color.
It's already 144 hertz. You know what I mean? I mean, come on, for you're not playing esport games on a S95C. You know what I mean? You get a 480 hertz panel for this. A small one. So the S95C is you're good for the next 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years for sure.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's just amazing.
Starfox is saying that the CX is way too dark and you lose a lot of details. What is in general a problem from OLED? So I agree that the CX is way too dark now compared to the G4. Yes, there is so if you're going from the CX to the G4, you will notice a big difference. But again, it's not a day and night difference. Okay, let's be clear here. That you lose a lot of details in dark areas. I wouldn't say that's a problem just with OLED, first of all. And it's also not really a problem I can see, because if you, I mean, out of the box, they're pretty good, to be very honest, and maybe you need to adjust this a little bit in terms of calibration, yes, but I wouldn't say. But I rather have an OLED screen than an LCD where you lose a lot of more details, and you don't have a great contrast on top. That's a problem.
Well, but I want to say with LG, if it looks too dark, you can fix that very easy. You have the fine-tuned dark areas, which you can, on the C1 at least, you can increase that to 2, and it doesn't raise the black floor, so you still have perfect blacks. Or you can do the black level or screen brightness in 51. You still have perfect blacks. And it increases the visibility near black. And on top of that, you can do a 22-point calibration, and you can increase the lowest code values, or the lowest end of the grayscale. You can increase that to 5, then the next one 4, then 3, then 2, or you can do more from like 8, 6, 4, something like that. And you can increase the visibility near black as much as you want. It's not a problem.
Yeah. So, Marco, I have a PSVR 2 and MQ3 and MQ3. Maybe he needs MetaQuest 3 and MetaQuest 3S. I use for movies, 2D, 3D, SPS, and some MR games, and PSVR only for VR gaming. Okay. VR is great for PC gaming also. Okay, this really doesn't answer my question if I should get the 3S or the Justice 3. So the biggest difference is the lenses, between this. And everybody's telling me, so the problem is I never tried it. My little one doesn't know this, but I don't, if I wouldn't care about having the best, I wouldn't buy a G4 or S95C. You know what I mean? So I don't want to spend $500 if I can have something much better for $800. You get my point?
Yeah.
So at the end, you're already spending $500. I have no problem to put another $300 on top if I have a significant upgrade, because at the end you just regret this if you just spend $500. You just think, oh, why I haven't. But I don't know.
I'm gonna look into that. When we finish the stream, and see what the difference is. But if there is any difference on the lens, like maybe you get more. Sometimes you can get more like field of view, like your vision with the VR headset is reduced, so you might get a bigger look. So if that's the case, or more resolution, that's
they're using different lenses now, on the Meta 3, and it's according to many testers, that's a big step up, and they can't go back to the 3S.
Yeah.
So and this is the most important thing, you know what I mean? What you have, I mean. The processor and this stuff is all the same, so there's no difference. Anyway, let's go back to the Game Awards. Witcher 3 trailer said it was running on an unannounced GPU, unannounced. So the 5080 or 5090 is already announced, or?
Yeah, but the thing is, that was not in engine. So that's a video. That was a CGI video. That was not in engine. The game is not going to look like that. That's impossible. It's not gonna look like that. So yeah, I don't believe so. There is a difference between that trailer and the intergalactic trailer at the end. You can see the difference. Mostly the Witcher 4 trailer looks like a movie, kind of. You see the difference. It's just too much. The game is not going to look like that. I don't believe so. Patrick here says, hey, Plasma, what are your thoughts on Sony potentially buying From Software? I have no idea, man. But I don't want From Software to be managed by anyone, because they are killing it. From Software is my favorite game company, because they do the games that I play, that I like the most. So I don't want any changes at all. They are killing it. This new Elden Ring game is a fantastic idea at the perfect moment. I don't want anything to change with them, honestly. It could only get worse. It cannot be better. I don't think they can do. The only thing From Software can improve, and they should definitely, is the performance. Maybe improve the engine, but don't get Unreal Engine. Just keep, improve what they have or create something new. But yeah, they have to improve that. Aside from that, everything else is perfect in my opinion.
Yeah, that's a good advice here from Moody Alley. Hit the like button, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah, so we got a lot of games announced. I made a list here of the things that I was interested. One thing that was disappointment for me, the creators of Sifu. You played this game. I have to actually finish it because I played it for a moment and then I jumped to something else. But I have to finish it now with the QD OLEDs because these cartoonish games, they look amazing with a QD OLED. Sifu was such a great game.
Sifu, yeah.
I like, the Kung Fu game that is like, you remember, I think you even made a video about it.
Yeah.
I think it was a fantastic game. And they changed that, man. Now they are doing a football game. I love soccer. I like that a lot, but I was hoping for Sifu Part 2 or something similar, because they did a great job.
You know what the biggest announcement was for me, actually? So it's not Witcher and not this new Naughty game. Naughty what was the name?
Yeah.
Naughty Dog. What was the name?
Yeah, Intergalactic.
Intergalactic. It's not that. But and I'm pretty sure, so most of the people in the chat are way too young to actually know Onimusha.
Oh, yes.
No one knows. I played this. Was this PlayStation 1 or 2?
1, 2, 3. Oh, yeah. Onimusha 1, 2, 3. There was Onimusha in PlayStation 2. I think the 3 was PlayStation 2.
So I would like to know how many people actually know this game and have played this original back then, because this is old, this game. And I was about, okay, this is interesting. I need this. This is a must buy for sure.
Yeah, I didn't play that because I didn't have a PlayStation 2, but I remember my friend hyping me about it, like, oh, this game is just amazing. It's like, So yeah, they bring back a lot of old games. There is a game that I've never played, Okami. It is from 2006. I never played this game, but they had an orchestra and everything announcing that they were working on it. So yeah, that's another thing I didn't like. Some games that they are way too far away. So I think they just want to gauge the interest to see if they're going to spend more money on the development of the game or something. Because if it's so far away, why are you even, mentioning it?
So are there actually? So what is? I mean, is there apart from Naughty Dog with Intergalactic or whatever the name is?
Yeah.
Was there any new game actually? Because I mean, The Witcher is a old franchise. We have Onimusha, very old franchise, which I'm looking forward for this. But was there anything new? Nothing.
Yes.
Huh?
Yeah. What? So did you play Shadow of the Colossus or Ico?
Yes.
I was playing it with the PS RPCS 3 emulator, actually.
Oh yeah, okay.
And even the originals, the graphics are very outdated, but just the music and the atmosphere of those games is fantastic. They announced a game. I don't even think they announced the name of the game. I don't remember. Okay. And it was so short, you don't even know what the game is about. But just the music and the atmosphere of the game was so interesting. It definitely had the same vibe as those games, and I think that those games are epic. That was a new game that was very interesting. They had like 2 mech games. One was the Steel Hunters, and the other one was like Mecha Break or something like that. They looked similar to Armored Core, but maybe more multiplayer. or something like that. They have a game that I thought that was going to be a Sleeping Dogs 2. Did you play Sleeping Dogs? It's like a GTA game. It was a great game, and they had a game like that, and I thought, oh man, that's Sleeping Dogs 2, but it's not. It's called Project Century, and I think it's gonna be like this this Xbox. What's the name of this Xbox game? Yakuza, closer to Yakuza.
Okay.
Just fighting on Tokyo or something like that. So that was an interesting one, and they announced Mafia. I'm not sure if Mafia was announced before. Yeah, I think so. Sure. It was announced before. It's a Mafia. The old country is in Italy. I didn't like at all the Mafia 3. I think it was a terrible game, especially technically. Do you remember trying this Mafia 3?
No. I think I never played any Mafia part or game, to be honest.
Those are good games. Good games. Well, Mafia 3, I think, is the worst, probably the worst color grading ever. It looks so bad and so wrong all the time. Even the cutscenes. It's washed out, yellow. It's disgusting. It looks so bad. I don't even understand. Bad. I'm telling you, like really bad looking, and the performance is trash. The terrible games. But now the Mafia remake was actually decent, and this one looks pretty good. This one seems to be a good one.
Okay. Any info on the engine? Is it running on Unreal Engine? Or?
Yeah, most likely, because the remake was on Unreal Engine. Most likely. I'm not sure though. Yeah. They also announced, they show again Crimson Desert, probably one of the most anticipated games. You see this, it is like I don't know how to describe. It's like a Assassin's Creed, but eliminating everything that's wrong with Assassin's Creed and adding
a new game then.
Zelda vibe and stuff.
Okay,
and Witcher
cool.
3 vibes. Very, very good, and they show a lot of that. So that's one game I'm looking forward to.
Okay. I'm just going to the comment section. Oh, there's Borderlands 4 as well coming. I mean, announced.
Oh yeah, I didn't like what they showed there. I didn't like that, but I'm not a big Borderlands fan. But Borderlands 3 was good. I played a little bit. The HDR was good.
Good game, yeah, but HDR was good, yeah. I mean, the game is fine, but it's nothing, He's older, I know, Onimusha. New one looks amazing. More than Capcom win as usual. Hopefully, yes. Don't mess up HDR. Don't mess up. But
I like that game. I like a lot that they announce. We have many games coming that are Souls-like. The success of Elden Ring and all these games, and those are the games I like. So yeah.
So far from all the Souls game, actually, so I like Wukong so far the best, to be very honest, because it's not on a level where I would give up. I played the first boss or whatever, this big furry thing or whatever. I think I tried this guy 20-30 times before I beat him, but it was not like I don't want to do this anymore. Like in Demon Souls, where you have, because most likely it's because you don't have to start from the very beginning again. You know what I mean? Something like that. It was just a good experience actually, and learn how the enemy is reacting. Really great. Absolutely, I love it.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna play it, but I was a little bit upset with the way the game looked, and I've been waiting for the upgrade to play it because the performance is not very good. At least on the benchmark, it doesn't look. It's not almost not playable for me. To get the fidelity that I want, otherwise it's a blurry mess.
I know, yeah. It's still probably a blurry mess, even after the Pro update. It's a little bit better now on the PlayStation, but it's not a. As soon you start moving around, that's that's Unreal Engine. You know what I mean? It's low res and not good.
Yeah.
But hey, 5090, No worries. With all the mods and whatever. Oh, we need a new Zone of the Enders game. Oh my goodness. Are we old? Why are we so old? I like to have, instead of getting this bloody Intergalactica, I was looking for Jack and Dexter 4. And I told you already, if they would do a Jack and Dexter 4 based on how Jack and Dexter 1 was, I would buy just a PlayStation console for this game. Full stop. This is for
before
me,
the game, they said from the creators of Crash Bandicoot, Jack and Dexter.
I love Jack and Dexter. For me, this was, or it's probably still one of the best 3D jump and run games. Full stop. That's.
Now, let me comment on this one. Someone asking, what sound bar do you use with the S90D? I have a sound bar that I show on a video, but that sound bar is trash. I mean, I got it because someone gave it to me, and I said, okay, yeah. It had a subwoofer and everything, but the sound quality, I think, is worse than the TVs, honestly. So I do have a receiver from 1999, and I have 4 speakers. It works. It works. It's a Yamaha receiver. It sounds amazing. So that's what I use, that receiver. But the audio of the TV is nice. It's not bad at all.
Yeah. Okay, let's say bye-bye to Star Fox. He's tired. Probably Germany. It's probably late. It's very late in Germany. Okay, good night then.
Have a good one.
He loves the Pro patch for Wukong and Warhammer 4K Space Marines 2. So in terms of the best updates so far, what I've seen, Space Marines 2 on the PlayStation 5 Pro is such a big difference. It's the same actually like Final Fantasy VII. You remove this blurry, very ugly picture, and you have now suddenly a very sharp, even with in movement or whatever, when you play the game, very sharp picture on the Pro. Absolutely fantastic. It's not as good in Wukong, probably because of Unreal Engine 5. There's not much what they can do. And it's interesting that they're just using PSSR in Wukong on the quality and balanced mode, not in a performance mode. And I think the reason is because the performance mode has such a low resolution that you would introduce issues again with the upscaler. That's my.
I think they should also add a 50 FPS mode to the games and a 50 hertz output on the PS5 if it doesn't exist. So you can use Game Motion Plus because it works at 50.
Yeah, this is actually really a good, because back then when we started having PlayStation 1 or whatever, we were divided between PAL and NTSC. So now we one world united. We can have all the refresh rates we want because there's no difference anymore. We can play in 72 if they want to have 72. It works like that.
And that's the reason why they have these TVs have that 50 interpolation for 50 FPS content.
Yeah,
because in some European countries they have that.
Yeah, you're actually right. I mean, why not? I mean, 40 FPS, fixed 40 FPS mode, and I know I received so many comments, from my last video, 40 FPS. How can you be happy with that? I mean, look, we're talking about the base PlayStation 5, which now has a stable 40 FPS mode. 40 FPS is not much. I get this much better than 30 FPS, and we need to consider the price what you pay for the base PlayStation 5. That's the point. You're not getting a very much better PC for this price. Full stop. That's how it is. That's what you can expect. Okay. Yeah. So, and just because some people having a 4090, you paid 3-4 times more for your GPU
alone. Okay. Plus the PC and
of course it's better. I have a 4080 here. Of course it's much better. Of course it's much better. But price. Okay.
Yeah, we have a lot of comments with TVs, of course, because you just got your G4. I got this Samsung S90D and all these Samsung TVs. I want to say something. Someone is saying I'm saving for the G4. Someone is saying, bro, don't get the G4. Get a QD OLED from Samsung. I have to say this. Forget about brightness. Forget about even a screen uniformity or the settings available. Forget about LG or Samsung. in my opinion, to my eyes, okay, maybe someone else is not gonna see it this way. To my eyes, QD OLED, maybe because it is RGB, looks more correct to me. It looks better. Things that are not impressive at all look very good. I opened the other day the Soul River remake or remaster, actually. It's not HDR, it doesn't, nothing. It opened on, I had HDR on Windows, so it looked dark, worse than SDR, washed out. It still looked great on the S90D. Like basically, I don't need anything special. Everything looks absolutely amazing. And that's when you know that the technology is just amazing. Like nothing has to happen. I don't need a highlight. I don't need brightness. Everything all the time looks absolutely amazing. And I never had that feeling with the LG C1, never. So I think a QD OLED right now is the way to go.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. And first of all, you pay less for the Samsung compared to the G4.
Not to mention that.
Yeah. So again, I mean, the reason why I got the G4 is just for the perfect HDR settings, what you get with LG. LG is still superior in this case. And the next reason was because I'm using this TV as a monitor. And there's a big difference between QD OLED and W OLED, because the text visibility, small text, we talk about small text, for using as a PC, is just much better on QD OLED, okay? It's not comparable with LCD, of course. LCD is just spot on, but W OLED is very close. QD OLED is fringing out, and you need to increase the text size to actually don't see this. So there's no difference in games. Don't forget about this. There's never any difference problem in games because you have big size letters, okay? So no problem at all. But if you just want to buy the best technology, I fully agree with Ariel. QD OLED is the way to go. Full stop. If it is now the S90D, I'm not sure. If it is the S95C, I can recommend this TV. But yeah, that's how it is. That's how it is. Wukong was rocked.
Yeah.
I mean, I enjoy this game. I really do. I like this game. Absolutely. The more I test and the more it gets actually better. And this is the thing what I don't like. You get the game and you have to wait a year to actually play it in a way. Because, I mean, just imagine this. I don't know if you know this, Ariel, but on the PlayStation 5, back then when the game was released, there was no fixed 30 FPS mode. So 30 FPS is already terrible. But it was an unlocked 30 FPS mode, which had a frame rate between 30-40 FPS. There's no VRR working, and it is introducing more stuttering.
So you're getting stuttering and screen tearing all the time.
Yeah, no screen tearing, but you have stuttering on top. So 30 FPS is at least the same stuttering all the time. But because now we have unlocked frame rate, it is just double, and it was terrible. And the same with the balanced mode. 45 FPS cap on the base and also on the Pro. Pro was slightly higher, 48. I don't know why. If there was maybe, if there's not really a cap or whatever, but it looks like a cap. Anyway, it was not enough on the Pro to have VRR enabled. So it is stuttering like crazy. And now at least you have a fixed 30 FPS mode, which plays much better than the old unlocked 30 FPS mode. The only thing what I don't like is that if you don't have a 120 Hertz screen, the balanced mode is still unlocked. I don't know why they not kept it at 30 as well, because it's so terrible. I rather have fixed 30 FPS than unlocked stupid frames. I don't know why they're doing this.
Yeah, so it is not enjoyable for, some kids don't notice that, but for us, it's difficult to enjoy it. If it's that bad. And what about Xbox? It's still not even available on Xbox?
No, it's not available. And now the best thing is actually, and this is the second game I'm seeing this on a PlayStation. So Space Marines 2 was the first thing where I noticed this. 120 Hertz always enabled, even you just always enabled, So there's no 40 FPS option, Space Marines, but they enabled now 120 Hertz in the background. So it will run 30 FPS or 60 FPS in 120 Hertz container, which is already much better because input lag, response time from the panel, and so on and so on. And they have done this with Wukong as well. And that's why the performance mode now feels a little bit better. There is still, according to my info, frame generation used. That's why they probably don't use PSSR in the performance mode and stuff like that. But because we have now 120 Hertz, it feels a little bit better. You know?
And let me ask you, can you set it to 60 Hertz output if you want for those 60 FPS?
Yes, you can.
Okay, because if you want to use Game Motion Plus and stuff. But yes, sample and hold 60 FPS, 60 Hertz looks exactly the same as 60 FPS, 120 Hertz. Now, if you have an impulse display, or you're using BFI or any other strobing, you don't want 60 FPS, 120 Hertz because you get double images.
Okay.
But sample and hold looks exactly the same. You get better input lag, like you're saying. So it's a better option.
Yeah. Hello, Kevin. Yes, we talked about the Game Awards, and we are both not happy with Astro Bot. I mean, it's a great game, but I don't think it's a Game of the Year awards.
No, it is not. And actually, they had a vote, like where gamers voted, what is the best game? And it was Black Myth Wukong. And Jeff Keighley said like 100%, something like that. He implied like absolutely everyone said it was Black Myth Wukong. So then why is it not winning? Who is voting for the best game of the year?
I'm not saying anything, no.
I don't know. Maybe.
But I mean, there are influencers and whatever. And look, I don't know. I don't want to say anything, but Sony likes to win as well. You know, maybe there is something going on in the background. We never know. We don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, the Game Awards brought to you by Sony. I asked Marcus, let's have that for the title of the live stream.
Oh, we need to be a little bit more, diplomatic. You know what I mean? So again, I think Astro Bot is a fantastic game, a must-play game if you like 3D jump and run games. I absolutely say that, but it's not a game of the year for me. Not.
It cannot be.
We have Final Fantasy VII. Yes, it's just a remake, but it's a fantastic game. We have Wukong, which is, I mean, for a Chinese developer, you know what I mean? They just did this, buff a game and perfect, Okay, apart from the performance, and you need a high-end PC to actually enjoy it. But hey, we have this with so many games, Indiana Jones. What about Indiana Jones? Why is Indiana Jones? Was this actually nominated at all, Indiana Jones, or was it released too late?
It was not nominated. Maybe because it will be for next year because of the time where it released.
The time?
Maybe. I'm not sure.
And
there are some games, some kind of games that that's not Game of the Year material. Like a family game like that, those kind of games should not be Game of the Year. It doesn't matter how good they are. It's obvious. It's like having a side scroller game winning Game of the Year. It doesn't matter how good it is. Ori 4 or something like that. It's amazing, absolutely perfect.
Oh,
that's
the
not
Ori
Game of the Year.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, my Game of the Year is still No Rest for the Wicked. If you haven't played this, that's from the Ori makers. This is absolutely fantastic, this game. And HDR is just wow, absolutely crazy. I love it. I love this game.
I'm gonna have to check that one out.
Check it out. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's still in early access. I think is it officially released? It's coming from the consoles as well as at some point. I know that, but not sure when. I'm surprised we didn't see anything on a Death Stranding 2 or even just an official date. So am I the only one who doesn't like Death Stranding 1 at all? I don't know. I don't like this game. I really don't like it. No. Do you like Death Stranding 1?
I tried to play it. I have to say the performance is amazing. The cinematics are very, very, very well done. But it's boring, man. I couldn't get into it. It's so boring. For me, I mean, it's a walking simulator. I get the idea, but I was not into it at all. Maybe if they had that motorcycle at the very beginning, maybe I would have played more. But
yeah, right. Yeah. So Aaron is the comment for the best game voted by the public. We have to consider that Wukong is Chinese, and there are a lot, and I mean a lot of Chinese people voting. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
called
but still, I mean, even if you take the
people voting.
Chinese out of the equation, I mean, Black Myth Wukong, since they announced it, everyone knew this is gonna be game of the year. It's like obvious. I hated the way this game looked, but I have to recognize that it looks like a great game, and I'm sure I'm gonna love that game because that's the kind of games that I like. Yeah, that's the game of the year.
Yeah, so Indiana Jones will be probably nominated for the 2025 awards here.
Yeah,
and I think it should be in terms of ray tracing and stuff like that. Path tracing is crazy in this game. In terms of performance loss, I'm not even sure if I like it actually sometimes, because sometimes it doesn't look, anyway, off topic, but sometimes it doesn't look realistic to me, to be honest. But maybe that's just me not knowing what I'm talking about. But in terms of performance loss, this is just, wow, crazy.
Yeah, I mean, a 4090 is like 60 FPS with performance, DLSS performance. Of course, you can use frame generation, all of that.
But I made this. So there was the update for so because there was the issue with DLSS and HDR, I disabled DLSS and I used TAA. No. Oh,
yeah.
no. Oh, I can't remember the other one. What is inside?
Yeah.
Was it TAA? Yeah. Anyway, it's good quality actually, to be honest. And then I enabled path tracing. When the update was, and I didn't enable DLSS in the beginning. And I went down to 3 FPS, and I hardly couldn't close the game. It was like, oh my god! And my 4080 was probably, what are you doing? I have just 16 gigabytes and this and this. Oh my god! Anyway.
Yeah. And what I don't like about ray tracing is, like, even when that game is using ray tracing all the time. I was watching the Digital Foundry comparison, the ray tracing, path tracing with a comparison with the base. The shadows look better to me. I don't care if with the path tracing they are more realistic. The issue that he was complaining about was popping. The shadow, the draw distance was too short, and you can see popping of the higher resolution shadows. So, I mean, they should fix that. If they fix that, I even like that more than the path tracing version.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's more accurate. I think it was kind of blurry, kind of messy.
I mean, to be honest, for the performance loss, what you have, I don't care at all. I'm happy if you can turn it off. Full stop.
Yeah.
Ray tracing is a nice feature to have, and the more I play with ray tracing, I actually think, yes, it's good if there is a good implementation, which doesn't cost too much. But it should be not on by default, to be very honest, because it just costs so much performance. But I have to say,
go ahead.
Because I have to say, the Xbox Series X version, Indiana Jones, looks really, really well. People saying and complaining again, oh, it doesn't look great because PC, blah, blah, blah. Yes, and you're playing on a 4090 and comparing this to a $700 console. Again, it looks absolutely fantastic, in my opinion, on the Xbox Series X, and it runs 60 FPS locked. There's no problem at all. So this game is really great, actually.
Yeah, so what I was going to say is I don't like these games requiring, ray tracing GPU to be played at all. And there's also a new game, the Final Fantasy, the new one that's coming to the PC. It doesn't have ray tracing. It's not confirmed to have ray tracing on for sure, but you need to have a ray tracing card because they are requiring DX Ultimate. So then you have to have a ray tracing card. So basically they are killing the old GPUs. And a GPU like the 1080 Ti is still powerful enough to play those games. So I don't like them doing that. Basically,
but that's the point why they're doing that. That you finally buy a new card, or
killing your GPU basically.
The 1080 Ti is just too good. That's the problem.
Yeah, exactly. I don't like that.
Okay.
I want to answer this comment here. Stop the FOMO did a side-by-side comparison on the S95D and the G4, and the G4 crushed blacks and too much contrast in some games because it cannot display the wide color gamut. So the G4 has settings to fix that black crush. The S95D doesn't actually. So if it's better out of the box, that's great. But that can be fixed for the most part. Maybe if it is too severe, you cannot fix it. The other thing is you have to consider the TVs when they are brand new. They might be crushing blacks a little bit.
Absolutely. Not just
So
a little bit.
I'm not sure. I mean, FOMO knows that. But I'm not sure if he wants to give you the content as soon as possible. Of course, maybe that G4 was too new. Maybe then later improve a little bit. But yeah, the visibility near black on the LG TVs with the settings you have available, that can be fixed. So I wouldn't care too much about that.
This is really interesting because I mean I can't see any difference, in terms of test pattern or whatever when I compare the G4 with my S95C in terms of visibility. 1% test pattern whatsoever. I can see them on the G4 and also on the S95C. So there's no difference. I mean, a wide color gamut. Of course, we know that the QD OLED can display much more or brighter colors in general. Yeah. But again, I dare you to see actually really the difference in some games. You know what I mean? Because most of the games, unfortunately, using this DirectX 709. That's a problem. Of course, if you, I mean, to be very honest, at some point, of course, I think we can spot the difference between QD and WOLED. You know what I mean? But I'm talking about people, like my mom or whatever, and I sit them in front of a TV and say, which one is better? She will not know anything. She will know both are good, for sure. You know what I mean? And maybe she even says, oh, this is too oversaturated. I don't know,
But let me tell you this. My family, they didn't care at all about the quality of the TVs, none of that, until I put the C1 in their room. And now they saw the QD OLED that's going to the living room. They are blown away. They're like, holy, this TV is just amazing. Just give it to me. They cannot wait for me to finish testing and doing all the videos so I can have that on the living room. Yeah, I'm still haven't decided which one I'm gonna go for the living room. If I can match the S90D with my S90C, I'll keep the S90C because the S90D looks better under lighting conditions. It looks less red. Yeah. So when you flash, actually, I think you can see it right now. I'm flashing a light right now.
Yeah.
So the reflection of the light on the S90C looks more red, and on the S90D looks a lot less red. It's a lot less distracting. So I would prefer that with some lighting conditions.
Okay, cool.
But the calibration is better. So I want to evaluate the games. I want the better calibration. So if it's crushing blacks, I can do it.
I mean, there's no doubt, coming from the C1 to the S90D or whatever, I mean, that's a big step up, of course, obviously, That's, of course, no doubt about that. Okay, final questions, guys, because I need to prepare stuff. We're going to the beach today. We're getting a very hot day in Australia today, and today it's beach day. So final questions, final comments about the Games Award, Astro Bot. It's okay. It's a great game, but why not another game or any game? So what was any other game,
So they also announced this Turok Origins, which looked like a Fortnite but killing dinosaurs.
You never heard about Turok, huh?
I did. It's an old game, but I don't remember playing that. I think it was a revolutionary game for its time when it comes to rendering and all of that.
Yeah, I think it was.
But I never played it.
So was it just on the Nintendo back then, guys, or was there also a PlayStation version?
Yeah, I think it was a Nintendo 64 game that was 3D, first person, and it invented a lot of rendering techniques and all that stuff.
Oh my god, that's good.
Yeah, it was impressive for the time.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, that's for me, my favorite games on the Game Awards was Crimson Desert, which we already know about it. I mean, this game is looking absolutely amazing. It's just a Breath of the Wild with the best of Assassin's Creed, some Witcher and Elden Ring kind of stuff. I mean, it sounds so good. I think it's gonna be a blockbuster. And of course, Elden Ring #1, of course, is the Elden Ring announcement is just great. It's a shame you cannot play co-op right now. So far, you cannot play with 2 people. It has to be 3 people. So I was thinking, oh, maybe we could do a stream and play that together.
But where do you, we don't have other friends.
3 people only.
Oh, we will find another one. No worries. You know what I mean? We will find another one.
Yeah, maybe they fix that later. That's looking pretty good.
So what about any news about Days Gone 2? No?
No.
Oh my God, I would love to play this game, you know. Days Gone 2.
Yeah.
Maybe they're doing a remake or remaster first, you know. Let's see.
Yeah, it was a very good game. I didn't beat the game. I still have my save file. So it looks pretty good. Yeah, so that's for the most part, that's the most those are the most impressive games.
So are we happy with the Games Award then? Nah.
No, I mean, I think the awards, that's the awards for the most part was the people voting. That's the issue. Who is voting for this? If it's not the gamers, then it doesn't even matter. Like journalists that maybe don't even.
So journalists are just voting, huh?
Yeah, I think it was just journalists, like a random pool, pool of journalists.
Yeah. Invited by.
Yeah, I think there's too much conflict of interest.
Yeah, of course it is. Of course it is. For sure, that's the problem. You know, that's the problem. But I don't know. I mean, again, Astro Bot is a great game, but nah, I wouldn't be mad if Wukong or Final Fantasy would win. You know what I mean? That's how it is.
Yeah.
You know?
And Wukong only won best action game, and what was the other? They won another thing. I forgot. Yeah, like 2 things only they won.
So Sony killed Days Gone because the game didn't score 90+ on Meta. So many people asking for Days Gone 2, you know. I think it's really a fantastic game, and in regards of HDR, in regards of how the game looks actually on a PlayStation 5 or even PlayStation 4, wow. Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
I have 45,000 subscribers now. Wow, okay. Still a long way to go to 1 million.
Yeah, you're killing it. I mean,
we're getting there.
Your videos are killing it right now.
Yeah, I hope so. Perfect. Thank you very much for watching. Oh, they killed. Okay, the focus on Last of Us. Okay, I like Days Gone more than Last of Us, to be honest. I mean, it's because it's an open world game. That's why.
But they killed The Last of Us too. They killed Joel, and they killed the franchise. Actually, they announced The Last of Us 2 remaster
for PC. Yeah.
And the Game Awards. Yeah, it's coming to PC too.
Finally. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's still, you know, the graphics and everything is nice. So I hope it's not blurry. Yeah, I was going back. I finished Uncharted 4 on the PC. I didn't play the Lost Legacy, and I was gonna play it the other day because there is a Reno DX HDR fix for it. It still looks, the HDR still doesn't look great, and it looks so blurry, man. It's, you know, 4K DLSS quality, and it's a blurry mess. I don't understand that, man. It looks so bad.
That's how it is nowadays. So maybe we go back to 1080p screens because there's no point to buy a 4K screen.
Yeah, I can play that with a plasma. It looks about the same.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Okay, guys, I have to leave. You can stay on, Errol, if you want, but I have to go. You know?
Yeah, I'm gonna read some comments and I will wrap it up. Yeah, maybe in half an hour. I'll read some comments.
Guys, thank you very much for watching my videos. See you guys next time. Thank you.
You enjoy your time. Have a great day, man.
Bye.
Yes, I'm gonna go through the comments. Let me see where I am right now. You can drop any comments, TV related, Game Awards, whatever you want. Let's see what we have here. Well, we have a German comment in here. I don't understand German. Marco here says, I have a PSVR 2 MetaQuest. Oh, he already read that comment. So I'm way behind with the comments. Witcher 4 trailer. Yeah, we already read that. So the S90D and the colors are more natural because of the processor. I think it's the calibration, but maybe, I don't know. What are your thoughts? Okay, I already read that comment. I think I'm way behind. Let me get closer to where we are with the new comments, and then I'll go back. Everything PS5 Pro says, maybe one day you and I could make a stream together as collab. Yeah, let's do it one day. We can do it one day. We're open to collaborate with any YouTube channel. HD TV test gave C85 TCL best value TV of the year. Yeah, I think with those LCD TVs for gaming, I have to try them because you see, I've seen reviews of the TCL QM8, for example. That's awesome picture quality. When you use game mode, something completely different. Actually, I remember the last video I watched about the TCL QM8 was the Max Chambliss YouTube channel. He didn't like it on game mode at all, the TCL QM8. And that's a great, very bright TV. So for gaming, it's just something completely different. That's the thing. That's the problem with LCD technology. They have to work on that technology so much so it looks good. It's like it's fake. It looks great because it has so much processing and the backlight. And they are doing so much for mini LED to look great, and that's good. But the thing is, when you actually have to play games, processing is not allowed because it affects the input lag. So then you realize really what the technology looks like, and the low contrast is bad, man. So that's the problem with mini LED. But I will definitely try one day. I'm gonna try a mini LED, but it has to be 10,000 nits. Like if I'm going to risk it, it has to be a lot brighter than OLED, a lot brighter. 10,000 nits. Maybe that Hisense UX or something like that, but of course that's too expensive. And 100 inches, just too much. But one day I'm gonna try. But I think for gaming, QD OLED or even WRGB OLED is just where it's at. Talk says, just subscribe to your channel. Thank you very much. I appreciate your support. We've been killing it lately. By the way, a lot of people ask me about the LG C1 firmware update. The C1 is on the family room, so I'm gonna have to take it down here, which is some work, but I'm gonna do it this weekend. I'm going to update the firmware and see if I can notice any difference. But more importantly, with the firmware updates, you post if you have any issues. So we, come together to see if we can notice a difference. But honestly, I've never seen any difference on the firmware update with my LG C1. None. I don't know what they do in the background. Probably nothing to do with picture quality because I don't see any difference. But I don't use it as a TV. I use it as a gaming monitor. So yeah. Aaron says, maybe you have said it already, but what is your most hyped 2025 game? Well, right now, the Elden Ring. I mean, I'm gonna go January 10. They have a sign up day or something like that where you can try to see if you get selected to test the game early or something like that. It's for them to test the servers and all of that. And I think it's $40, which is good. The price is good, $40 for that. So I'm not sure if you have to pay for that, but the game is gonna be $40. So I'm gonna do that January 10th, so you can play it in February. That would be awesome. Definitely my most anticipated game now. But before that, it was Crimson Desert. I think that game is fire. Everything about that game I like, except the color grading. There's something off about the color grading on Crimson Desert. It looks blown out. It looks like it is overexposed. The daytime looks too white. See, the sun is illuminating everything too white, like if it is clipping. It's an artistic decision that I don't like, and I've seen this happening in many games. For HDR, it shouldn't be like that. I think they messed that up, but there's always a fix, and that's gonna be a very popular game, so that can be fixed. It's not gonna be a problem. Ryan says, do you notice a big difference between peak brightness and Windows HDR calibration when using PC console settings on Samsung? A difference between peak brightness on Windows HDR calibration. Okay, so I don't understand exactly what you mean, but let me tell you this. For these Samsung TVs, you cannot rely on the HDR calibration app or the PS5 or Xbox system level calibration, because the tone mapping, the HGIG tone mapping of the Samsung TV is not triggered. It's a bug. So what you have to do on the PC, for example, to realize that what I'm telling you is actually what's happening, you have to open a game or open a video. So the HGIG is triggered. The right tone mapping is triggered. So if you have HDR game, HDR basic, a static tone mapping, you will see that the clipping will be as expected on the HDR calibration app if you open a game or if you have a video open. So you open the HDR calibration app, it's clipping like at 1800 or 2000, something like that. Then you open a video and it's gonna be clipping where it's supposed to. Like for example, with the 1500 nits mod, it's gonna be clipping at 1500 nits. So that's what happens. I watched the HDTV test video with a Samsung, and he gave a fancy explanation of why that was happening, and he's not right. He knows a lot, HDTV test, he's an expert. He knows a lot more than me when it comes to calibration, all of that. But that's just a bug. And he didn't notice that probably because he was using the Xbox and not a PC. So with the Xbox or a PS5, you don't have a way to open a game and at the same time open the system level calibration. You cannot do that. That's why he couldn't notice that that was the issue. But if you use a PC and you do what I'm telling you, you will realize that that's actually what's going on. So I'm sure HDTV test would agree if he does that testing, basically. So I have a QN90D, looks good in gaming. That's great. I mean, mini LED is super bright, full screen. That's awesome. Hi, Plasma. I am the creator of the Uncharted 4 mod. It was pretty much just a fix for the incorrect match, the shifted hues and saturation. If you want to see a real improvement, check out my Resident Evil 2 remake mod. Okay, well you are the Reno DX HDR mod creator. Well, congratulations, man! You're doing a great job. The biggest problem I see with the Uncharted 4 mod is that the peak brightness is still messed up. And I read your mod. You're saying that you didn't have access to control the peak brightness, and that's why you didn't have all the settings that you have available in Cyberpunk, for example. So yeah, it's a shame. I still try to get more brightness with the Lilium shaders and all of that, but yeah, it's not great. The HDR is not great, so I'm not sure. Maybe RTX HDR is gonna look better, but the problem is the color grading is still gonna be messed up. But yeah, you're doing a great job, man. Keep it up. I would like to learn how to do those mods myself if I can, so I can fix other games. But yeah, keep working on it. Keep releasing those mods. I think that's amazing. The C855 has a newer processor than the QM8. Okay, I wonder why. C1 is the GOAT, best TV ever created. nothing comes even close, especially with that BFI. Definitely the best motion we have on TVs. Bill says, did Samsung nerf the S90D? Quantum Tech made a video about that. No, I don't believe so. I watched his video. You see, I'm never gonna speak bad about other YouTube channel because I'm not here for that, man. I don't like the controversy. You know, he has the right to say whatever he wants. That's okay. He's free to do so. But I don't think there's any changes at all. There's no nerf that happened. Now, what Samsung maybe did was Samsung changed the way to access the service menu, and maybe with the old remote, you can no longer access the service menu. But if you have a service remote, for example, you can access the service menu. And if you use the the color control app on a PC, you can also access the service menu. And he made a video saying that you can no longer access the service menu. So maybe he doesn't do it with malice. Maybe he just doesn't know that. But yeah, hopefully he watches this video or he learns or whatever. I tried to drop a comment in his video telling him that it's not a problem. You can still access the service menu on the S90D. I'm not sure if he saw that comment. But yeah, that is not what I see. So I'm not going to say that he's wrong, for example, with the issues with the new firmware update. I don't know what he sees. Maybe he's sharing what he sees. I don't see those problems. So yeah, I don't see any of those problems. The issues that he's talking about on that video are basically the S95D is brighter than the S90D, and we all know that. And he was also mentioning that the S95D was darker, near black, like if it has more contrast. And he probably, for what I understood, he was probably implying that that's better, and I don't believe so. Crushing Black is not better, but that's his opinion. He has the right to have whatever opinion he wants. I watch his videos. I've learned something from his videos sometimes, and I appreciate that he shares this stuff about the firmware updates and whatever he wants. So I just watch his content, see if I can learn something. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, and that's fine. Chris D says, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you, Ariel. Only here I can wish you that. Man, I swear I tried to figure out how to unban people. I don't even remember why I banned your account, honestly. I don't know how, man. I don't know. When I go to the list in the Google, on my Google account, there's nobody listed as banned. And I've banned some people, absolutely. If you say something that is not polite, or you offend me or something. I don't remember what you did, but I think you've been here on the live streams, and I would like to have you back. I'll try to figure it out, man. I promise you. I'll try to see how to do that. That's what I'm afraid of, updating my TV. Yeah, I would not recommend you to update your Samsung TV, because the thing is, are you gonna get better motion interpolation? No. How do I know that? I compare my S90C with the out-of-the-box firmware and the S90D with the latest firmware out of the box. No difference whatsoever that I can see, at least with Game Motion Plus. I'm going to compare the motion for movies. I'm gonna make a video soon specifically about movies, movie settings, HDR. I'm going to analyze the HDR of the Netflix library, because one of these TVs is gonna be used just for movies and Netflix. So I will make a video about that, and let's see if I can see a difference in the motion. But so far, they look exactly the same. So I don't think you're gonna get any benefits. You're not gonna get more brightness than what you can get on the service menu either. So why would you update? You know, the interface changed. Samsung changed the interface of the menus. Is that better? They added the Symphony Q sound stuff. You don't have this on the older firmware. When I updated the firmware on the S95C, that was added. There was a new setting on the service menu that counts the hours for the screensaver, I believe, or something like that. So there are some changes, but the thing is, if none of those changes are beneficial, I would not update. So I would keep it offline. But one of these TVs is going to get updates. So I will make a video about it when I do update the TV. I'm not sure yet which one is gonna be. Zero Magic says Elden Ring co-op looks like. Well, the graphics are not special. The performance of Elden Ring is not great, and actually I'm concerned about the performance because the CPU utilization goes up when you play co-op or online, or you have more NPCs and stuff. So it might be worse, and yeah, that's concerning because that engine doesn't run very well Elden Ring. But yeah, the game is good, man. I think if you like Elden Ring, I think you're gonna like this one. I mean, we still have to wait, but I think it's gonna be great. LG C1, one of the first HDMI 48-bit bandwidth. No, the C1 has 40. How do I know that? Because you cannot use 4K on the LG C1. You cannot use 4K 120 hertz 12 bits RGB full on the PC. You cannot do that. With the S90D and S90C, you can do 4K 120 full RGB 12 bits. With the S95C, you cannot. It's like the C1 is limited to 40 gigabits, 40 gigabits per second bandwidth. And you can also see that if you use the CRU app, you also see that listed. It is recognized as 40 or 48 on these ones. So yeah, that's how it is. But it doesn't really matter, man. I cannot see any difference at all. I don't think it's a big deal. So I have a November made S90D. Is it 3rd gen? Most likely. So look at the back of your S90D. The 3 S90Ds that I got, 2 of them were in November. But more importantly, it says A. So the FA02 on the back, FA02. All 3. And all 3 were Gen 3. But if you don't want to access the service menu, I think that's your best bet. Otherwise, you would have to see Gen 2 and Gen 3 side by side with the flashlight test to notice the difference, because it's actually very small difference. But there is a physical difference that you can see with a flashlight test. But if you've never seen 2 and 3, you're not gonna be able to tell that difference. But yeah, most likely that's a Gen 3 1500 nits panel. How do you go to the service menu to check big brightness because the code doesn't work? The new code for the S90D to access the advanced options is 0098. So you go to the service menu, you step on the advanced, and you click 0098, and you go into the advanced options, and then you go and check the ANA pick. Plasma, now that The Last of Us 2 is coming to the PC, do you think modders will create a playable Joel character mod just as a big middle finger to Naughty Dog? Absolutely. I mean, the problem is gonna be the cutscenes and the voice. Imagine you have Joel and then you're speaking like like a lady, but at least you're gonna be kissing a lady, so that's a good thing. But yeah, that's gonna happen. You bet. I mean, it's obviously that's gonna happen. What happened with our German friend? Yeah, he had to go to the beach with the family. Actually, Crimson Desert looks so cool. That looks too cool to be real, but maybe those Korean delivers, who knows? They show gameplay. How many? I mean, we've seen like half an hour or maybe more of Crimson Desert. We've seen a lot of gameplay, a lot. See, the main concern I have with that game is the camera. The camera is sometimes is too far away. Like the latest gameplay that they show, the camera, this fight, that there was a tree in the middle and we were fighting an enemy. The camera was too far away, and sometimes when you're moving, you get a building in the middle, and it's like you cannot see well. Is the problem I have, and I think they are doing that because we have a lot of enemies and we have a lot of particle effects, and all these particle effects they are in your face and you cannot see very well. So I think they have to fine tune that, but that's something that they can fix. And I'm sure they know that. I think a lot of people are giving the same feedback, but the game looks very good. I mean, combat looks great. Everything looks good about that game. Especially, I like it. It's giving me Breath of the Wild, Zelda vibes when it comes to the open world and the exploration, and also Tears of the Kingdom vibes, because we have the vertical exploration on the clouds. We have this, I don't know, these buildings, structures that are for gods, or I don't know, but it's just, it looks amazing. I have to say, I cannot wait for that one. Yeah. Did you do the 12.01 update on your S90D? No, my S90Ds, they are all coming with the 12.01 update out of the box because they are new from this month. So I didn't update them. They are already there, basically. I did what you recommend, open Mass Effect HDR and Windows HDR calibration. My QN90C in console mode clips on 1300 nits, while in PC mode, 1150 nits. Well, I mean, it's not limited to QD OLEDs. That is a Samsung issue. So yeah, thanks for sharing that. Even for the Samsung Mini LED TVs, you have to do that to set the HDR calibration up right. Now, I don't know why console mode is clipping differently than the PC mode. That's strange. But yeah, definitely keep testing, because sometimes you test and there's something that's affecting it. So we have to keep trying. Dan says, new Naughty Dog game running at 60 FPS with perfect image quality. Trailer was running in real time. Incredible looking, custom tech. Further proof that shitty image quality is not a hardware issue. I mean, I have to say, Naughty Dog is one of the best when it comes to the motion of the characters, the interaction between objects of the game. Technically, their games are fantastic. My complaints with Uncharted 4 and The Lost Legacy are they just look very blurry, very blurry. Now, The Last of Us remake for the PC looks better, but it's still blurry. So the thing is, their TAA implementation is just way too strong. It's messed up, in my opinion. And there is a mod to remove TAA in those games on the PC. And when you remove TAA, the weirdest thing I've ever seen when you remove TAA happens with these Naughty Dog games. When you move the camera to the sides of the screen, you see like these circular shapes. It's like it's hard to describe. It's like this, like some circular band. So when you move, it looks so messed up, so messed up. And when you revert the mod, I think that issue is still there, but you cannot see it. It's that blurry. So basically, the game is so blurry that all the defects, you cannot see them. It's so bad. But yeah, this game, this intergalactic game, when it comes to image quality and performance and everything, it's absolutely incredible. I mean, I cannot say otherwise. Now, I don't know why would they have such an ugly character, so controversial. Like, why would you do that, man? It's just nonsense. You're killing a game because of the character. Nonsense. Why would you have Adidas shoes, a Sony thing on your spaceship, and then the spaceship is Porsche? That is immersion breaking, in my opinion. That doesn't make any sense. Why would you have so much controversy? Just make a good game and give players what they want. Players want a beautiful, inspiring main character and none of the nonsense. Is that difficult to understand? Well, maybe they have to get that sponsor money from these companies. That's why they have Sony and Porsche and Adidas and all of that. But it's not nice. I don't like to be playing a game where they are trying to sell me something. You know, it's different. If you have a car game and you see all the car brands, that's fine. But you get what I'm saying. You only have one chip that's Porsche. Now, if that game has different brands, and you know, you might have a Lamborghini, a spaceship, and you know, a different brand, that's fine. You know, that's cool. That would be like, oh, hilarious. But I don't think that's gonna be the case. So I don't like that. Speaking about performance, that's another reason I'm glad Astro won. Astro and Belantro were the only well-optimized nominees. I didn't play this Belantro game. I have to check that out. That's like anime stuff. But yeah, Astro Bot, I'm definitely gonna play that when it comes to the PC. C9 was the first TV. Yeah, the LG C9 was great. Yeah, 40. 48 gigabits is only for 8K. Is that true? Because if it is like that, then we are future safe. So you cannot get 8K full RGB with 48 gigabits per second. You know what you can do? Go to the Muridio HDMI bandwidth calculator. So it's a website, you type in 48 gigabits or no. So you don't type in that. You type in the resolution, full chroma 444 or 420, and 120 hertz or 240. And then it tells you the amount of bandwidth that requires. If you can get that over HDMI 2.1 without DSC, or if you need DSC. So that basically answers any HDMI bandwidth question you have. The new Intel GPU, the B580, I think it is, this $250 GPU that's actually pretty good for the money. The performance is pretty good. It has DisplayPort, one that's better, and the bandwidth is like 50 something. I forgot. You can Google that. So basically, they did improve the bandwidth, and it's actually better than the 4090 already. So definitely expect the 5090 and whatever AMD is coming up with next is definitely going to have better than 48 gigabits, definitely with DisplayPort. So that's great. I would update my Samsung for sure. Case, I have the first gen S95B, and with the last update, it is so good that it's basically the same brightness that it was at the beginning. so it go easy to 1500 nits. Really? Well, that's surprising. From what I read, the S95B with the latest firmware update, there was a setting, a specific setting on the service menu that you had to change to adjust EOTF tracking when you do the 1500 nits mod. So I'm not sure about those 1500 nits. I don't think Samsung will give that away with the firmware update. So check that out. If you want to go to the service menu and max out the ANA pick, you would have to change the HMPAT pick W plus setting on the service menu. But there's also another setting that you have to change specifically for the S95B. I forgot right now at the top of my head. I forgot about that setting. But you have to change that for accuracy purposes, for EOTF tracking purposes. I found out that the PS5 supports 40 gigabits per second maximum. I think it's 32. I'm not sure about that though, but I think it's 32. The PS5 is 120 hertz output limited, or 60 hertz output in full. Heat wave in Australia. I know what you mean. A camera is too far. I agree. It might have an FOV slider or camera zoom options. Most games do these days. Oh yeah, Crimson Desert. Yeah, for sure. There has to be an FOV setting. But yeah, out of the box, it should be fixed. And the problem is, I think it's dynamic. It goes farther away. In Crimson Desert, the camera, the distance changes with the action. So they have to fine-tune that better, I think. It is amazing that sometimes it looks medieval, grounded, and a moment later, the man is flying on a dragon and skydiving and walking on weird sky magical castles. Yeah, I think, Crimson Desert is looking absolutely incredible, in my opinion. I'm just sharing because I calibrated in PC mode once and never realized that the clipping point actually changes in console mode. So the same thing may be happening with other Samsung customers. I didn't see a difference between console mode or PC on any of the Samsung QD OLEDs that I've tried. But I will double check that. Thanks for sharing that. If someone has a Samsung Mini LED TV, check that out. If you're using Game Motion Plus and you are in console mode, see if the clipping point is changing. If you go to PC mode, it is just Unreal Engine being buggy. In-house engines runs better. Unreal Engine is bad, man. There's no way around that. The only thing good about Unreal Engine is I think we get more games, but the quality is so blurry. It's terrible. Although this Naughty Dog games is just an in-house engine. It's not Unreal Engine, so it's just the way TAA basically. It's not good. I don't like TAA at all. It is product placement, pays the budget like Steven Spielberg did. I truly believe the intergalactic trailer scene was end game. It looked amazing. I'm not gonna argue with that. The thing is, they didn't show the game at all, and at the end of the trailer, you see the character running forward. It jumps to a rock, and then it jumps again and it attacks. I highly doubt that you're gonna do that in game, because it's just such a fluid animation. The jump is to the left, slightly towards the left. It's not like you're running forward, you jump to a rock, and then you jump to the enemy. You get what I'm saying? Like you're running here, then you jump to the left with one foot, then you jump again to the enemy. It's too smooth. That's not representative. I don't believe you can do that on the game with that level of animation and smoothness. But if you can, that's Naughty Dog quality there. They definitely have done things that are amazing in the past games. Death Stranding and Monster Energy. Yeah, I agree. The labels, we are going to have a problem with that. It's disgusting, that, man, really. Made Dolby Vision work on Samsung. Someone made Dolby Vision work on Samsung. With Dolby Vision ever be a benefit for video games, dynamic metadata? On Samsung TVs, we have dynamic metadata. We have HDR10 Plus, which is more important than Dolby Vision for gaming, especially if you have a PC and you have an NVIDIA GPU. Hopefully AMD and Intel will join the HDR10 Plus thing. We don't have any game right now on the PC with dynamic metadata. I don't believe so. Cyberpunk and Red Dead Redemption 2 support HDR10 Plus, but the only thing that HDR10 Plus does for you is that it automatically changes the peak brightness slider. That's okay. That's not a big deal. You know where to set the peak brightness. So there's no dynamic metadata, but dynamic metadata would be better for, to preserve all the details. Is definitely better. But yeah, and Dolby Vision is good. For example, right now my LG C1 has a Fire Stick, and the Fire Stick, so the family is using a Fire Stick to use the LG C1, and it has an option to force HDR over everything, and it is Dolby Vision actually. So everything is now Dolby Vision on my C1 for regular content, and it looks very, very good. I have to say, it looks fantastic. So yeah, but for gaming, I don't think it matters at all. We will never get dynamic HDR, dynamic metadata gaming with Dolby Vision because it costs money to these developers. I don't think HDR10 Plus makes more sense. Tone mapping at the GPU driver level, that makes more sense. And I think in the future that's gonna be important, but not Dolby Vision. I don't think that's gonna make any difference. Are you sure the blurriness from the Naughty Dog games are not from the DLSS implementation? Because native resolutions with TAA did not look blurry on my C2, if I remember correctly. So what I see is when the base game looks blurry, DLSS looks blurry. I'm not an expert on that, but we had a live stream with Hybrid, which is an Unreal Engine developer. And from what I remember and I understood, the problem is when they use too many frames, they accumulate too many past frames for TAA. You get ghosting and it looks messed up in motion. And the thing is, it is so easy to get wrong. So TAA and this upscaling techniques, they are so easy to get wrong. So when you have a technology that is so important because it affects the image clarity, and it is so easy to get wrong, that's bad. That is bad because they get it wrong more often than not. So I think TAA is killing the games. Especially, think about this. In the future, you have a 5090 or 6090, whatever, and you're playing an old game that has TAA. Your GPU is running that game easy, no problem whatsoever. So what do you want to do? You want to get more pixels. And there's gonna be a point where getting more pixels doesn't matter. And it doesn't give you a better image clarity because TAA is ruining the image clarity. So TAA is the worst for game preservation when it comes to the quality of the presentation. It is like CGI, videos in game are terrible. The other day I opened Max Payne, the latest one from Rockstar, Max Payne 3. The game looks absolutely amazing because I can run it with DLSR, a lot of pixels, and the game is easy to run. I couldn't play that game because from the very beginning, you are looking at a video that looks terrible. So these games that have videos are the worst because the videos are very low quality in comparison with in-engine rendering. It's not even close. So you ruin the preservation of that game completely. I opened the other day Prince of Persia, The Warrior Within, because it's a legendary game. I already, of course, beat that game when I was a kid, and I wanted to see how a game looks. And the game looks fantastic. I can run it with a very high resolution. It's capped to 60 FPS, and my controller doesn't work, so I need another program to make that work. But the thing is, the videos, the worst thing I've seen is you cannot even understand what's going on because the videos are so blurry and low resolution. So in my opinion, they have to eliminate all these things that destroy the preservation of the games and the clarity of the games. They have to get rid of it. Get rid of the videos. Just in-engine, real-time rendering cutscenes. That's what makes sense. And eliminate TAA, man. Just eliminate that thing. It doesn't look great. Even if they have to scale back the games, just increase the amount of pixels so we don't see shimmering. And that's it. If you have to lower the scope of the game, that's okay. Give me a crisp game that looks good in motion, no ghosting, and I think that's better. Yeah, and I love, that I love frame generation and all of that, but it's just not good. I get a 5090 and I'm not gonna be happy with any of those blurry games because there's no way to fix them, even if you increase the stuff. So Talk says, I recommend Astro Bot. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna play that game, especially with the dual sense. I think that's the best thing about Astro Bot. I think that, by the way, this is, in my opinion, the dual sense, the biggest improvement to gaming we had this generation by far, because they have to focus on this and improve this, keep improving this even more, because it gives you a more engagement. It's just so awesome. The quality of the vibrations on the dual sense, it's just next level. So Astro Bot, I know that's the best game for that. So I'm definitely want to play it because of that. Even the tech demo Astro Bot that they have on the PS5. The Adidas and Porsche brand implementation simply are financial backup when the game crashes against the wall at maximum speed because no one wants to play as a transgender boss babe anymore. You said that, man. Okay, you have the right to give your opinion, and I appreciate that. I try to be a little bit more politically correct, but I have to say where I come from, that is not expected at all, to say the least. Okay. Docs Mod says, I recommend Astro Bot. Okay, I already read that. Funny thing about the monster drinks and Death Stranding was you eventually replace it with a local craft beer by helping out an NPC. Okay. But that was a sponsor for sure. There's no way around that. Hello from London. Yeah, we have London, I think, is number 2 country on the channel. Number 2 country, the US, then is London, I think. United Kingdom, 422 only. Feel kind of meta with the game themes. Harrison Ford turning up was quality, better than Sony can do. Yeah, that was epic. That was nice. Did you ever get a chance to take a look at the S90D at Costco? I haven't got to Costco yet, actually, but I will. This is, you have to be lucky. So it's just, you know, I'm not gonna run to Costco because it's like, you know, whenever I go next time I go to Costco, I'm gonna ask them. What I want to do is go to the back of the TV first and take a picture. I turn on the flashlight of my camera. I'm gonna take a picture of the back of the S90D they have at Costco to see if it is FA02. If it's FA02, they have the same that I have most likely. But if I see a B there, then I'm definitely gonna go and speak with them. And if they don't have an open box, I'm going to try to, you know, leave my cell phone or something. Hey, you know, give me a call if you get an open box so I can check it out. And then I'll see if that's a Gen 2. The thing is, the price of the S90D is now $1,700. So yeah, it's like pay $500 more just to get the 2000 nits panel. Yes, it doesn't feel nice at all. Harrison showing up was amazing, but why the hate towards Sony? I mean, Sony is the only company, you know, really doing the good games. I mean, I'm talking about Xbox and Sony. I mean, Xbox has nothing. They have this Fable game coming out that's probably gonna be garbage from what they've shown. And yeah, Sony is the only one making the good games. They have the money. That's just the way it is. If they sponsor the Game Awards, and that's why Astro Bot won, you know, good for them. I don't really care too much about who wins, but it is important for these companies because there's a big, you know, financial, you know, benefit for them. I finally beat the Vatican in Indiana Jones. I have to play Indiana Jones. I heard everything I heard about that game is good. I just didn't like that they forced ray tracing, but I'm gonna play that for sure. I have a Pro, just not entirely happy with what they are done with the Pro, and I have that too. So they're not happy with what they're done. Is that PSSR issues? Or maybe you don't see the big difference for the money. I mean, it's the best available. So if you have a Sony library, it's just the way to go. It's the best. So what are you gonna do? And speak for yourself. If the games are good, who cares about what the main character is? That's the truth. The thing is, see, we are very good at recognizing patterns. And honestly, the problem is when you start to see this kind of controversies with these games, the games are bad, man. It's just one time and time again. Like, how many times do we have to see that when a game has this kind of controversies around it, the game is bad? Okay, so I don't care about too much. I mean, for example, I played what's the name of Kina, Bridge of Spirits. It was a female character. It was a beautiful female character with maybe what they call cozy vibes and all that stuff, and you know, cute and these creatures and all that. The game was fire, awesome gameplay, very, you know, beautiful art style. It was awesome. One of my favorite games. Highly recommended. And it's probably not, you know, one of the traditional games that we used to get. But honestly, you know, I opened Prince of Persia 2, The Warrior Within, the other day. First cutscene of the game. What do you see? Beautiful woman, and you get a close-up to her back. And it's the most beautiful back you've ever seen. That's what most gamers like. And that is the honest truth. It's obvious. That's what people like. So we care. We definitely care. I don't know why things change in the opposite way. I don't know why that is offensive now. If it was not offensive back in 2004, I don't know what changed. But the thing is, once we see these games that have all this controversy, for some reason, they are bad games, and that's what I see. So if it's a good game, yeah, I can live with that, but it's probably not gonna be a good one. What are your S90D settings for calibration? Check out the last video. So let's leave it there, man. I think I'm getting too far into the DI injection, all the stuff, and I don't think we want to get too much into that, especially not for Marcus' channel. So I'm gonna ask him to check out all my comments. If he doesn't like it, we'll take down the live stream, because we want to focus in what we do, better, and share all the stuff that we know. The controversy stuff is not. We don't care about getting into that too much. So I'm gonna read a couple comments and finish the stream. Let's see what else we have here. Do you think LG will implement a Game Motion Plus anytime soon? Samsung has Game Motion Plus for a very long time, and none of these companies are doing it. I don't know why. So probably not. I don't know why they don't do it. It doesn't seem to be very, very difficult because it works very well. So they definitely should. Game Motion Plus is very good, especially the input lag is surprisingly good. It's better than the input lag you get with a BFI on the LG TVs. So that is impressive, honestly. All these companies should do it. Yeah. Yeah, it was. You guys are free to say whatever you want. I just don't want to get in trouble because I don't really care too much about the war. The DI word is not nice. It's not a. I don't enjoy that. 48 gigabits per second is needed for 4K, 120 RGB PC mode. Yeah. Full RGB, yeah. 12 bits actually. If you set it to 10 bits, 40 gigabits per second is enough. So 10 bits, full RGB. The LG C1 can do that with 40. You're stabbing my heart, Tux. True, but Naughty Dog is pretty good at contextual location-based animations. We'll see. Yeah, they are very good at many things. That's for sure. That's why it is sad, man. Just get out of, any kind of controversy and just do a good game because they are one of the best. Although that cutscene was pretty damn close to gameplay, if you know anything of The Last of Us 2 graphics. Yeah. Software Dolby Vision on Series X for gaming is nice sometimes. Sometimes regular HDR looks better on the OLED, in my opinion. Both Witcher 4 and The Outer Worlds 2 run on Unreal Engine 5 biggest battle, I think. Yeah, Unreal Engine 5 is not delivering high quality image in any game. I haven't seen it yet. Fortnite is maybe the best example, but that's a cartoonish game, so we don't know. Why don't you like AMD as much as NVIDIA? Because DLSS looks better. That's why. That's the only reason, actually. Nothing else, honestly, because I don't care about ray tracing. So I am just going to buy the GPU that has the best upscaling. Why? Because we have TAA anyway, whether I like it or not. And most of the games you have to use upscaling because TAA looks worse than upscaling from 1440p or a little bit higher resolution. So I'm gonna buy the GPU that has the best upscaling. It's that simple. It doesn't matter the amount of SPS for the money. Nothing else matters. Of course, if the difference is too big, I might get an AMD, but it's not big enough. So that answers that question. Netflix and Disney Dolby Vision is washed out. Well, with the Dolby Vision, I was saying is Dolby Vision that the Fire Stick is forcing over all content. It looks very good. So everything, even if it's SDR natively, you just get an auto HDR basically. It looks very good. Maybe I'm gonna make a video about that. And I can have the C1. I can do this maybe. I can have not the movie because I cannot show you a movie on a video because of copyright, but maybe I can have a picture or stop the movie. The S90D with the SDR content and the C1 with the Dolby Vision from the Fire Stick and show you that difference basically. It is very nice. It is very nice. I think it worked very well. It amazes me how many different HDR modes there are. HGIG, HLG, Dolby Vision. Would it be better if everything was under one label? Or does there have to be so many? So HGIG is not an HDR format. HGIG is basically a recommendation to do tone mapping on the source so the TV doesn't have to do tone mapping. The TV is like a reference monitor. It follows the EOTF and it hard clips as close as possible to its actual peak brightness. So HGIG basically means no tone mapping on the display. So if you don't have tone mapping on the display, you either need the game to have exactly the same brightness that the display has. So basically the max CLL, the color grading of the game be exactly the same, or you need the game to have sliders so you can change the peak brightness to what the content is. The thing is, I don't think this developers work too much on the HDR. I think what they do is they turn on HDR on the engine, and then they use a tone mapping method. Either, you see when you use reshade, you have BT2446 dice method or 2390. This kind of tone mapping specs or standards. I don't know how they call that. It's like a tone mapping guideline or something. It's like a formula to do the tone mapping. So it's just these developers are not. I don't believe they are working like, okay, our game is gonna be perfect, 1000 nits, so most HDR displays can look the best with our game, and we're going to do the color grading to make it perfect for 1000 nits. What they do is they turn on HDR on the engine because the engine supports HDR, and then if they have a peak brightness slider, they just have a tone mapping algorithm like we have with Reshade and the Lilium HDR tone mapping shader. That's it. So that's what HGIG is. No tone mapping on the display, tone mapping on the game. Now HLG, it is an HDR format that is very useful because originally HLG HDR content can be viewed on SDR displays. So HLG is a very good HDR format as a transition to a future where all displays are HDR. Because if you want to watch that content on your SDR display, let's say you have a plasma, you can, and it's going to look good because HLG was designed to be backwards compatible with SDR. So that's the advantage of HLG. And then we have Dolby Vision, which has dynamic metadata, but most likely all content is it's almost the same. There's no really dynamic HDR metadata. So yeah, Dolby Vision is great because it's like frame by frame tone mapping or scene by scene, and it has more precision when it comes to the how to do the tone mapping to make sure you see as much highlight details as possible and all that. So it is a good idea. The thing is, it requires too much, and that's why I don't think it's gonna be successful. But yeah, the reason why we need all this, to answer your question, the reason why we need HDR10 Plus, Dolby Vision, all this kind of stuff is because we need tone mapping on the display because the displays are not bright enough. It's that simple. So if we had if all the displays we had, they were capable of perfect HDR, absolutely perfect, up to 10,000 nits, full screen 10,000 nits brightness, no ABL limitations, nothing. We don't need any tone mapping. It would be perfect. Just the content will go up to 10,000 nits. The display it doesn't need any tone mapping. The content doesn't need any tone mapping, and everything would be consistent and everything would look perfect without issues. But because we are not there yet, we need to tone map on the display or tone map on the game. That's why, because the displays are not bright enough. HDRG is only because the standard is only one. The standard is the ST2084 curve, and it goes up to 10,000 nits and it finishes there. So that's the standard. All the rest of the formats that we have are either for compatibility purposes or for tone mapping purposes, or both. That's the answer. Okay, all upscalers are blurry. Yeah, I played Left 4 Dead 2 earlier, and it is so crisp. I heard good things about that game. What is more important to you, response times or brightness? There are 240 hertz plus OLED monitors out there, but with lower brightness than TVs. There is a Samsung QD OLED, has 4K, 240 hertz, 32 inches. There are many Samsung, many 4K, 240 hertz QD OLED monitors now. Even 27, there's a new one that's 27 inch. Yeah, I mean, we're also going to get a 520 hertz, I think, QD OLED actually, 1440p soon or this next year. So the problem with monitors is that you have no settings, almost no settings. And many of these monitors have very bad accuracy, especially on HDR. And HDR 400 is not HDR. The advantage of these monitors is that they usually have a little bit higher full screen brightness. So ABL is not as bothersome, but 400 nits is not HDR. And some of these monitors do have a 1000 nits HDR, but then the calibration is messed up. You either have raised blacks or looks kind of washed out, or there's an issue with the calibration. And the thing is, you have no settings to fix it. So for HDR, it is very important that the calibration is very good, because HDR is an absolute. See, for SDR, it doesn't matter. Actually, for SDR, you don't want accuracy at all, because SDR is inferior. You have less brightness, less color. It doesn't make any sense. You don't want to spend money on a premium display that is brighter and more colorful to then use SDR accurate, which is less colorful and less bright because it's an old standard that was designed for displays with less capabilities. Okay, that's why I would never use SDR at all, ever, on any of these TVs. It doesn't make any sense. It's inferior. It looks worse. The thing is, HDR, you have to fix it sometimes, and these games look messed up. But you can always fix it, especially if you have on the PC, basically. But yeah, that's the problem with these monitors. HDR accuracy is not great. You have no settings to fix that. But if you watch a review and the accuracy of the monitor is good, then go for it. But the important thing is not the response time. The input lag and the responsiveness of all the OLED displays is good. It's not a big deal. The thing is motion. Yeah, motion is gonna be better with 240 hertz. That's for sure. You get 4 milliseconds of persistence. That's better. But yeah, not because of input lag. That's irrelevant. It should be up to the TVs to resolve TAA problems. They cannot. I don't think it's possible, because adding sharpening is not going to fix anything. TAA is just killing the details completely. But yeah, something to help, it would be appreciated. My name is Jeff, says, also, do you think response times becomes less relevant with TAA blurriness begins thing? So TAA ruins everything. It ruins motion, clarity, everything, man. It's just a bad idea. So yeah, but yeah, it depends on the game. The responsiveness of the game depends on the render latency. Some games run faster, and they feel less heavy. Some games feel very light, and the input lag is awesome, even when your GPU is close to 100%. But yeah, it depends a lot on the game and the engine, all of that. But yeah, to your point, TAA, these temporal techniques that rely on past frames, yeah, the more accumulation of frames you need, the more laggy everything is gonna be. Yeah, so it affects everything. Remember, I'm not an expert on that. I'm just telling you what my understanding. Also, we did this live stream with Hybrid, and he talked about that stuff, so you can check it out. More AI super sampling version is coming. Let's enjoy the ride. Shimmering absolutely sucks. Yeah, I want 4K, 60. Many games still aren't there yet. Yeah, absolutely. I would like 120, but yeah, we need 60 first. Astro Bot as a PC owner is a kid's game. I'm not like 13. Indiana Jones PC version currently has upscaling issues, so strangely looks and runs better with TAA than it does with DLSS and DLAA, which introduce microstutter graphical anomalies. Yeah, I don't know why. I was watching the Digital Foundry coverage about Indiana Jones, and I understand the advantages of ray tracing and all of that. And they do mention when the game has some issues with the image clarity, but I feel like sometimes they leave that for the end, and that should be at the forefront. Yes, ray tracing is awesome in the game, but before we go there, hey, here's the issue. They are free to cover the games, whatever they want, the way they want it, and they do a great job in covering that. But yeah, I just think that the most important thing is the presentation, how clear the game looks. If it doesn't look clear, or it has shimmering or other issues, then ray tracing doesn't matter. It looks blurry, or it looks with shimmering, or it has issues with the sharpening. So then nothing else matters. And if they say that, then the developers fix it immediately. That's the thing. So that's why I would like them to be a little bit more be more aggressive when it comes to that, instead of praising it that much. Who thinks Who thinks of the new Elden Ring game? Yeah, I already gave my thoughts on that. Are you from Cuba? Yes. Been there 3 years ago. Havana and Varadero. Food situation is very bad, but I love Havana, and the beach in Varadero is amazing. Yeah, situation is very bad in Cuba, man. It's just a sad thing. Yeah, I don't want to even go there. It's the US is amazing. That's what I can tell you. This country is amazing. Just to reiterate, I have a Sony PS5 Pro, and I was an Xbox Series X owner. I like Souls multiplayer, so Elden Ring multiplayer game will be probably very fun for me. Absolutely. As of now, TA plays a part of geometry show up, otherwise you will get flat resolution. Yeah, the thing is, I understand, there are some advantages, of course, but the final result, the games that we're getting today, most of them don't look clear. So that's a problem. It can be done right. I mean, Ratchet and Clank, for example, looks pretty good to me, but not all the games look like that. So it's a problem. This chat is lagging. Pro runs good to me. High-end Sony OLED makes a difference. I don't understand the theory of Sony buying the awards, because if money is in the way, Microsoft would win everything everywhere. But sometimes money isn't the explanation. Well, sometimes it is not, but most of the time there's money behind this stuff. I don't play cozy games. Kina, Bridge of Spirits was a great indie game. Also enjoyed the Pathless. Yeah, I think Kina was great. I would like them to do part 2. Astro Bot is a cozy game. I don't know. Gaming market is easy. We gamers want waifus. You know what I don't like about these cartoonish games? I would like to play. What's the name of this? Genshin Impact and all these games. Wuthering Waves. This kind of games, they look very good. I like the art style. The problem I have with these games is the HUD elements on screen are undefeatable, and you have this long number in the bottom right corner of the screen that never goes away. That's a deal breaker. I cannot play those games because of that. So that is so awful, man. I don't understand why they do that. I think it is because that's the way they have to check and ban players for cheating or something like that. I don't know, but it's a deal breaker. That's the reason why I don't play those games. Otherwise, I think they look pretty good. Although Genshin Impact has black level race, the color grading is not great. Astro Bot, Game of the Year, well deserved. Helldivers 2, best multiplayer. Okay, that's your opinion. I have Platinum Trophy in Stellar Blade. I can see Intergalactic being bad. It is these small studios that make crap. Stellar Blade, what did it win? I think Stellar Blade was only nominated for best music. I think they didn't win anything. I'm looking forward to play Stellar Blade on the PC. Actually, it should be coming soon. Helldivers. I haven't played Helldivers. I'm not a big fan of multiplayers, man. I've actually. The thing is, I don't want to be talking when I'm playing too much. I just want to chill out, and sometimes you never know who you're gonna be playing with. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of that. So I'm probably gonna play Elden Ring by myself, but I do have some friends that we can maybe try play together one day. Yeah, the new, or maybe I can play with some subscribers. Maybe we can do that. Do a live stream and do a 3-player co-op. Yeah, New Helldivers 2 update is really fun. About Unreal Engine 5, do you know what engine is Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 running on? I don't know, but I don't think that's Unreal Engine. I played the first part. I didn't beat the game. It was very CPU heavy, but it looked very good and very clear. Kingdom Come Deliverance was not blurry at all. It looked fantastic. And part 2, they're saying that it's actually better optimized and it runs better. So the thing is, I've never been a big fan of first-person games. I think the combat was good in Kingdom Come Deliverance. It is similar to, what's this Ubisoft game? I played a little bit of this Ubisoft game that is very well optimized. I forgot the name. It has a similar combat system. It's good. I might check it out, but I've never been a big fan of first-person games. Let me try to move more. See if we can get closer to the end. So we can, 2 hours and a half already. I lost the track of time here. Today I went to a department store and the Sony sales employee was trying to convince me of an A95L is better than the G4. And I had a long conversation, but his only advantage was vibrancy, WOLED, and QD OLED. I mean, the A95L should be better than a G4 because it's a QD OLED. But the thing is, with Sony, you have dimming. When you're playing games, you have hot elements. The Sony A95L is dimming. I saw that basically a side-by-side comparison. I don't remember which TV it was, but you could see the dimming, okay, over time, and it doesn't take too long. And you cannot turn that off. It's undefeatable. You cannot go to the service menu of the Sony A95L and remove that dimming. So that's a deal breaker. that's a deal breaker. I cannot. Okay, I don't care how bright it is. If it starts dimming, HDR accuracy goes down the toilet, and Sony likes to crowd themselves with the accuracy. There's no accuracy when the TV starts dimming. We have enough with ABL. So on top of that, you're gonna start dimming because of logos. That is terrible. And you cannot get more brightness on the service menu either. So yeah, myself, if I had to choose, I would get the G4 over the A95L all day long, even when QD OLED is superior. But better than that, I would get a Samsung QD OLED. And just make sure you get a good return policy. You buy basically some insurance for yourself, because you might get a bad sample that you have to replace, because Samsung quality control is absolutely terrible. And my channel is a testament of that. I had to get 6 Samsung TVs to end up with 2. Okay, 6 Samsung QD OLEDs to have 2 good. So 4 of them were not good. So yeah, definitely make sure you get a membership or something, a place where you can return it. If you don't have the chance to return or replace your Samsung TV, yeah, I would be very concerned to get a Samsung TV. But the A95L has a smoother picture outlines. So the A95L, I don't know if it has the same motion clarity feature for interpolation for movies than the Bravia 9. Most likely because it's the same processor. Basically, you have an auto motion interpolation feature that I think is a great idea. Because if you're watching a movie and you are a purist, you don't want too much realism. So you don't want too many frames, is what some people say, which I completely disagree. I think movies should be at minimum 60 FPS. That's my opinion. I don't like low frame rates for anything. Okay. But they have this automatic motion interpolation for movies and regular content, which would basically increase the motion interpolation if there is a lot of motion going on the screen, and it would reduce the effect if you just have people speaking. So you can still have this dream-like effect of 24 frames per second, which is absolutely terrible in my opinion, when you're just watching people, talking to each other. But when the camera moves faster, then the motion interpolation kicks in with more frames and it looks smoother. I haven't tested this, but based on some reviews and opinions that I've seen, it's a very good feature from Sony. But aside from that, yeah, I don't think it's great. Ariel, you have to go to YouTube Studio settings, community, automatic filters, scroll down to hidden users. I'm gonna screenshot this. Okay, I'll check that out. I think I'm way behind with the comments. Well, I'm gonna do this, man. I'm gonna go to the very end and I'm going to read a couple comments and finish the stream, because it's already 2 hours and 40 minutes. It's crazy how fast the time goes when you're doing this. I wasn't impressed with the race black of the A95L when he demoed a dark scene. The G4 has perfect blacks and better contrast. Yeah, the A95L should not have race blacks. If you have perfect blacks, then the A95L might have better visibility near black. It is never a good thing to crush blacks, never. So the G4 might be crushing blacks, and actually I've heard that more than one time. So yeah, I don't think. But if it didn't look good to you, then but it is never a good thing to be crushing blacks to add more contrast. It doesn't add more contrast to crush blacks. It is worse. Now, if it is too bright near black, then it looks kind of washed out, and that's a problem. But I don't think that's the case, because I've never seen that mentioned on the reviews. Japanese shows at 30 FPS fluid. No, I don't think 30 FPS can be fluid, bro. That's impossible. But of course, animes, they have less than 24 frames. They have less than that, so it doesn't really matter for anime. Okay, so I'm gonna go the other way, read some comments, and I'll finish at 2:45. Let's do 6 more minutes. Let's see. Cry Engine. Kingdom Come Deliverance runs on a Cry Engine. Okay, well, Cry Engine is awesome. Yeah, that's the name of the Crysis engine. Yeah, that's great. It looks great. Once you get into multiplayer game, you doom. Yeah, a lot of people just play multiplayer. It's a different gaming experience. How much memory are we going to need next gen, since everything is going digital? You need your hard drive. I have 5,000 gigabytes of storage on my PC, and it's not enough. It's always full. Yeah, I have not played Black Myth Wukong yet. I'm waiting for that 5090. So I can actually get an acceptable image clarity. I need a 5090 to play Black Myth Wukong, okay? It's that blurry. I'm gonna be pushing a lot of pixels and a lot of mods to get Black Myth Wukong looking good. Digital Foundry likes motion blur. Enough said. That's weird. They like CRTs with motion blur, that should be illegal, man. Yeah, but yeah, of course, everyone has the right to like whatever they want. But yeah, that's the paradox. Those two don't go together. Okay, you cannot like a CRT that has great motion, and then you want to use motion blur on top of that. It's like, why? Why? I mean, they should go to jail because of that. PS5 Pro uses native 30 FPS with frame gen to get fake 60 FPS in performance mode. So sad. Yeah, that's Black Myth Wukong. Yeah, that's not a great idea. That's maybe why Black Myth Wukong didn't win Game of the Year. This journalist playing on their PS5, they might be like, oh man, this is trash. So yeah, let's leave it there, man. Let's finish the stream. 2 hours, 40 minutes. Let's do 4 minutes more and I'll finish it. I really need an NVIDIA Shield 2 with RTX video, HDR, and Super Res. Would be the best streaming box instantly. I've heard a lot of good things about that NVIDIA Shield, but I've never tried it. I don't know. How do you analyze SDR games with reshade using Windows Auto HDR? So there is an SDR analysis tool, the Lilium HDR shaders. So you can analyze SDR, and Windows 11 Auto HDR is gonna look the same, just with a big brightness for HDR. So if the color grading of the game is messed up, like Black Myth Wukong, Black Myth Wukong looks washed out on SDR because of the color grading. So, but yeah, there's a way to fix that. I know how to fix it with reshade. I shared that on a video, but that costs performance and a lot. It actually costs like 10% performance. So that's why I need the 5090. So I can throw everything I have to Black Myth Wukong so I can get a decent image to play it. Of course, I mean, I'm just trying to, to make it look as good as possible. But I think I'm really gonna like the game, basically. So I want to see it as best as I can. Funny thing was, the manufacturer agnostic department rep held the opposite opinion and said G4 was the best. I am more likely to take the opinion of one who doesn't work for Sony, recommending a Sony TV. Yeah, man, don't get Sony TV, man. It's just because of that dimming. That's a deal breaker. For gaming, it's just a big deal breaker. If they had a service menu where you can turn off the dimming, then not a problem, but they don't have that, and it's a big deal breaker. I think these TV companies, they have to understand that there's a lot of people who are enthusiasts that they should get a different set of options, because they try to design these TVs to be user friendly. So when you turn it on, you have your most accurate preset out of the box, and you don't have to change anything, and it just works. And that's all well and good. But there are some people who want more options, who are going to be changing settings, people who are not going to want to live with dimming, excessive dimming for absolutely no reason. So you have to have options for that. Give me the option to turn off the dimming. Give me the option to get more brightness. I would even argue, give me the option to get more brightness past beyond safety. Okay? Give me a warning. Hey, these advanced options will void your warranty, and they can damage your TV, can basically break your TV. Like, okay, next. I agree with that terms and conditions. Okay, let me get more brightness. It's that simple. So, for example, this S90D, let me get 3000 nits. Okay, if it has a Gen 3 panel, let me get 3000 nits. If it burns in 5 years or less, I don't care. Okay, I buy another TV. Let me do it at my own risk. So if they give me those options, I am more likely to buy your TV because I have those options. So that's me. Not for everyone, but I think they should also consider that, because for enthusiasts, that's going to be a selling point, big time. I can turn off all the dimming possible, even get more brightness, and have more options. Yeah, sign me in. That's not for everyone. Just make it like that. So yeah, let's leave it there. Thanks for everyone who showed up. 2 hours 45 minutes. I think this is a record for me. But yeah, I could be doing this all day. It is kind of addicting to do this. So thanks everyone. You guys enjoy your weekend. And have a good one. Thanks for showing up. Take care.